to understand, or where is your stand, and how you would be able to conduct your your debate brainstorming process. Okay, so um, ethics, of course, is the branch of philosophy that is responsible for the study of morality. Now, morality is basically what is wrong, what is right, and there are a lot of schools of philosophy and different theories about it. Let me just give you a couple of things that we're going to talk about. We have moral realism. So for moral realism, the arguments presented of whether or not something is good or bad is as absolute as scientific facts. Okay, is as absolute as scientific facts. So for example, it is bad to kill, or to take a life, or to murder someone. It is bad. It is absolute. Like oxygen is needed by the human body to allow us to breathe, right? So it's absolute. Moral anti-realism is more so related that good or bad is is more or less subjective. It's it's based on your perception around the world. So for example, I live in a country where the educational system is different, the belief system is different. Okay? So anti-realism, it's not related to, everything is subjective. Everything is based on how you were born. For example, Rainiel was born in a country along the island of the Pacific. It's isolated, and his views of morality is different from you guys. He might say that killing is good because it supports meat for us, because the tribe that I live in is a cannibalistic family, is a cannibalistic tribe, and therefore we eat each other. And for them, it's okay, because for them, the subject matter is quite different from how we learn things in the perspective of the contemporary educational system that we have, and the belief system that we have, and the cultures that we have. All right? So understood? Is that understood? Moral realism is as absolute as science. And actually, in moral realism, there is also a dispute about it. There is a dilemma. Now, a dilemma is you can't choose which one is right, which one is correct. Okay? There's a dilemma. So it's like two horns of a particular, or double-edged sword. All right? It's a double-edged sword. If you pick one side, you're still going to get cut. That's basically that's what we call a moral dilemma. Okay? Because every moral perspective, or moral, what do you call this, moral theory that we follow, or we base our thoughts whether something is good or bad, is going to be it requires some sort of a grounding foundation. Right? The grounding foundation means, in moral realism, there needs to be a grounding foundation. What is right is going to be explained by why. Okay? Which is what is answered by meta ethics, or meta ethics. All right, which is again another branch of philosophy that is much more philosophical rather than pragmatic, as opposed to ethics, normal ethics, or what we call normative ethics. All right, so it asks the question, why is it bad to kill, rather than what are the reasons why it's bad to kill. So for normative ethics, it asks the question, why is it bad to kill? Why is it bad to kill? While meta ethics asks, is it bad to kill? All right. So those are the two differences. It might sound the same, but the proponents of the discussion is a little too vague for us, and therefore I need to discuss the grounding on whether the moral grounding principles, or the moral realistic branches. There's what we call moral absolutism, wherein everything is universal. Everyone views it as whether right or wrong. There's what you call cultural a moral relativism, wherein one person's perspective may be relative to what he is born to. All right? And then there is cultural relativism. So under cultural relativism, there is what we call descriptive, and then descriptive, and then normative cultural morality, normative cultural absolutism. All right. So what's the difference? Normative cultural absolutism, or descriptive cultural realism, is that everything that we know as right and wrong is universally accepted by different cultures all over the world. Okay, there might be a few that is considered a dilemma, of course, but that is a criticism, of course, of that particular of that particular moralistic view. But for normative cultural ones, facts, or the moral facts, differ from culture to culture. Hence my discussion earlier with Rainiel. So he might be born from a culture that views human sacrifice or cannibalism as morally correct, to sustain or preserve the lives of the many. It is essential for them. But to us, from a different culture, it is morally bad. Okay? So hopefully we get to understand those things. Now also, we also have to talk about ethical theories. Ethical theories are the basic foundations also. I cannot discuss bioethics without the discussion of moral theories, ethical theories. One, of course, is natural theory, which is within which one of the proponents is Thomas Aquinas, Saint Thomas Aquinas, wherein everybody is born with all the good stuff. Okay, everybody is born with the capacity to do the good stuff. It is inherent to all of us because God gave it to us. All right? Another one is divine command. God ordered us to have certain things. God ordered us what is right and what is wrong based on doctrine. All right? And then, of course, we have what you call utilitarianism. Utilitarianism, everything that we do is based solely on the pleasure, based solely to create pleasure rather than pain. All right? Utilitarianism. It's much more. It has nothing to do with what the divine ordered. And again, it has nothing to do. This discussion has nothing to do with what religion you're following. What religion you might be. You might be following the Catholic faith, or you might be in the belief of the Islam or Judaism or maybe Buddhism. But what it implies is that my discussion of ethical theories implies is that there is a source of where good or bad comes from. All right? Whether something is moral or something is immoral. All right? So according to Thomas Aquinas, everything to us was given because of the natural law theory, which implies that God or a deity gave us, created us perfectly, and therefore we are capable of doing good inherently. Therefore, you should not damage a person. Therefore, a person should not stab a person to kill him, because that person is equally perfect as you are. All right? Similar to animals, you should not be able to stab them, mainly because they were created equally with all the good stuff that God created or a deity created. All right. Next, after utilitarianism, is categorical imperative. Everything is not based on doctrine. It always answers why. There has to be reason as to why it is immoral, why it is moral. All right. It's asking a categorical imperative. All right. So the last one is virtue ethics. It was actually one of the proponents is actually the Greek philosopher Socrates. Socrates proposed that a person's ability to be good is either too much, or if you do too much good. For example, a Star Wars. I'll use Star Wars as an example. We have what we call the light side and the dark side. The light side, there is a neutral side, of course, in the middle. They are what we call the Jedi, and then the light side is the great Jedi. The dark side followers are the Sith, and then the Jedi is basically the light side people. They are morally good. They do all the things of virtue, but it is too much. Like for example, the Jedi are pacifists. They will not attack unless they are attacked. So what is that? What do I mean by what does Socrates means in terms of virtue ethics? Too much good is bad for you. All right? Too much good is bad for you. So wars on countries, the Jedi are capable of fighting off the Sith. They have the connection to the Force, but they cannot fight the Sith because based on their virtues, they are good unless they are provoked, unless they cannot do anything unless something bad happens to their allies. Okay, so what the Sith does is they attack the remaining planets along the system, except for the allies of the Jedi, and they will not. They are passive. They are passive. Okay, they remain as pacifist. Consequently, on the other side, all right, the Sith do a lot of bad things, and it's too much. All right, they kill people, they steal a lot of things, and it's too much in excess. They are considered as immoral already. Okay, it is also immoral to be too good. It is immoral to also be too bad. All right, so that is the principle of virtue ethics as proposed by Socrates. All right, clearly understood the 5 ethical beliefs. You may use it in your arguments later on. All right, just giving you a taste of how it is to argue, how it is to use references or reference your ideas or base your ideas on a particular moral ethics, because each of the following theories that I just mentioned has a flaw. All right? Natural theory has a flaw as well. I'll show you guys the wala siya, hindi ko siya ma-share kasi sa website siya. If you look at the chart, there is always criticism. All right? For example, for divine theory, there is Euthyphro dilemma. Euthyphro dilemma means that if God ordered things to be good, or for the divine command theory, the criticism is if God commands everything to be good, when he comes down, for example, in front of Adrian today, he reversed the 10 commandments because you are 100% a divine command theory follower. This means that if a God comes in front of Adrian today and he modified everything to be reversed, the 10 commandments to be reversed, thou shalt not steal will now be thou shalt steal. That means that in his view, as a 100% divine command theorist, he will follow what it is. He will follow these things. Okay? That's the Euthyphro dilemma. So if God commanded to kill people, that means it is correct or morally correct. So that is the first flaw. For natural law theory, everything that we have is the basic good. But what if there is something lacking? That is the in-sought gap. Is-ought gap. All right? What if something is lacking? All right? Some people are not born equally as everybody else. All right? It is only the biology or it is only our desires that are equal. But what if something is missing? In utilitarianism, behavioral consequences is the moral grounding. And one of the criticisms is the repugnant conclusion. It is most of the time people who follow utilitarianism, who follow their desire more, tend to do things that are considered by many, or it becomes a much more selfish moralistic view. All right? So selfish siya. So for example, according to utilitarianism, what is good, or what feels good and doesn't cause me pain should be morally correct. So what feels good is I should rape a person because it feels good. Right? Does that mean it's morally correct? Because it doesn't cause me pain. So that is another dilemma, right? That is the dilemma of the criticism for utilitarianism. For virtue ethics, it is based on situational psychology. The criticism is situational psychology. One person may have a different behavioral um, how do I say this simply? One person may be born differently, or the situations in which he was born in is different from a person to person, is different from one person to another. All right, and what happens is that there is a clash. There is a clash between whether or not one thing is good, or whether or not the the foundations of how he grew up is considered good, and how one thing is immoral. All right. The ontology next is the moral inflexibility. The criticism is immoral inflexibility, or the categorical imperative. So moral inflexibility basically means that it could be twisted, it could be abused if you follow this 100%, and therefore it should always be considered it you should always consider moral views, or if you do an act if you think an act is moral, you should always keep in mind that an act can be a moral act can be flexible, and it can be twisted by some people. There is always a loophole. All right. So that's why everything here is of equal for me. For me, as someone who researched this quite thoroughly, everything here has their own pros. Everything has their own cons equally. All right, equally. They have their moral grounding, but they also have their criticisms. All right. So nothing is no for as somebody who is an arbiter for debates, I would consider everything here as equal, with equal moral grounding and with equal moral criticisms. Okay? Now, let's move on to bioethics. Bioethics is simple. It's the study of what is good. Sorry. Here. All right? So it's a field of study that's concerned with ethics and philosophical implications of certain biological and medical procedures, technologies, and treatments, such as organ transplants, genetic engineering, care of the terminally ill. We're going to tackle each and every one of them based on how you guys answer your debates. Okay? We're going to go one by one. The different ones. If we have time, we're going to discuss all of them. Now, the moral principles of these things are as follows. We have four medical ethic principles. One is autonomy. A patient has the right to refuse or choose treatment. Voluntas eguri suprema lux. It is always the person who has the right to choose to refuse or to choose his treatment. Okay? That is what we follow in bioethics. Beneficence. A practitioner should act in the best interest of a patient. Solus ogreti suprema lex. Alright? So a practitioner should act in the best interest of the patient. Alright? Non-maleficent. Do no harm. First, do no harm. Alright? Primum non nuncere. Alright? This is another principle of medical ethics. Primum non nuncere. Okay? Non-maleficence. Justice, concern and distribution of scarce health resources, and decisions who gets what treatment, and fairness and equality. All right? So justicia. All right? So those are the principles of medical ethics. I know I sound like I'm basing everything. I sound like I'm speaking on jargon, but it sounds fun to read Latin. Come on, guys. Nagfe-flex lang tayo. So those are the principles of medical ethics. Now, each of them have oops. Sorry, I got disconnected. Sorry, I got disconnected. Sorry, class, I got disconnected. All right? So, we're going to talk about each and every bioethical issue one by one, starting with Adrian. Adrian, are you here? Are you in the house? All right. Adrian, I want you to use I want you to open your camera and unmute yourself. All right? Because we are starting our debate now. Ganda ng introduction, ng haba, no? 15 minutes ba yun? All right? So, based on those facts, hopefully you are capable of understanding and organizing some of the debate issues that you might act upon. All right? So, I'm going to give you a choice, left or right. Right. Let's see what is your number. Left or right? Wait, hang on a sec. Where is Francis? You are right. Talagang morally right ka talaga, Adrian. Alright, so Adrian is morally right. So on my right hand is the order in which you guys are. Alright, so for the first topic, Adrian is for the topic. Okay? Now, that means that you are, Francis, in your group, you are against a specific topic, and you get to choose what specific topic we have. 1 to 4. Select a number, 1 to 4, Francis. Alright, let me check. Number 4, according to my whiteboard there, is abortion. So, Adrian is for abortion. Adrian's group is for abortion. Francis Alipio's group is against abortion. All right? I'll give you 1 minute to prepare for your arguments on the debate. Do you think abortion should be legalized? Adrian should say yes. Adrian, you are for abortion, huh? You are pro-abortion, and Francis's group is against abortion. And our members will listen in, and you will answer which one you like, which one's arguments are better. All right? This is a formal debate, guys. This is a formal debate, and therefore there is no hard feelings here. All right? Remember, 1 point is going to be removed from your score if you attacked the person personally. Avoid ad hominem arguments, okay? Argumentong ad hominem, ika nga ni Miriam Defensor Santiago. All right? 1 minute starts now. All right? Walang consultation sa mga group members, wala man lang chat. Walang ganon. I know, I love the outfits. I know, right? I know, right? Ayan na yung mga group members nag-online na. Nasaan na mga group members ni ano? Bakit parang iniwan si Adrian ng mga kasama niya na si Baltar at Gagazo? Ba't hindi sila nag-on? Buti pa si Cesar Makatulad. Nag-on siya ng camera niya. Ayan na, supportive ang mga friend. Supported na ang group members. You have 20 seconds on the clock. Who will be presenting for group 1? Group Cummings. Who will be presenting for group 1? Ikaw? Adrian? Alright. Okay. Abortion ang ating... Ayan na ang isa nating arbiter. Halalagot kayo. Nasaan na yung Archon natin, sir? May hinahanap akong Archon natin. Alright, so time's up. I want to see your arguments first. Would like to call into the stand Mr. Adrian Cummings, the representative of Group 1, to present his point of view against abortion. Please, you may take the stage. Hala. Nautusan pa ata. Wala man lang from Cagaso and Baltar na magsasalo sa kanya. Nasaan yung isa mong groupmate, Alipio? Nasaan sila si Rona? Bakit nawawala yung group member mo? Buti pa si Adrian Makatulad, oh. Ay, ayan, oh. Ganyan pa si ano, oh, ganyan pa si Charis, oh. Charis. May ganyan pa si Charis. Alright. Ang tagal naman ng arguments niya, ano, ng group 1. Pinag-aantay tayo, no? Naiinip si Sir Marco. Naiinip si Sir Marco, oh. Alright. Okay, so let's go one by one to our members of in the chat. Hindi ko tatanungin si Joanna Baltar, Mayor Gazo, tsaka si Cesar Makatulad and Alipio whilst we're waiting for Adrian's answer. What about Maria Charis Espe? Maria Charis Espe, can you unmute yourself? I want to find out people's views on the different topics. Maria, hi, how are you? Diba? Lakas maka-DJ, Sir Marco. Alright, how are you? Alright. So, who do you think will win this fight or this debate? Who are you betting on? Sino sa tingin mo ang makakapag-provide sa atin ng magandang argumento? Sa pro. Alright, thank you so much. Titingnan natin, pakinggan muna natin, baka mamaya mas maganda yung against ni Alipio. Mas maganda yung against ni Alipio, no? Oo nga eh. Parang I feel underdressed, Sir Marco, no? Parang I feel underdressed. Hinubad ko na yung lab gown ko kanina. Oo, I love it. Naiinip na si Cesar Makatulad. Gusto na sabi niya, gusto ko na sumagot. Nasaan na ba yung Adrian, si Senator Cummings na yan? Ang tagal-tagal. Alright, okay. So let's go to another student in the class. Handa po lagi mag-outfitan yan si Cheese. Meron pang hand signs na gano'n. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ito yung ano mo, yung pagkakalabanin mo si Adrian. Ito yung, si Adrian kasi ganon. Tama ba? Or ganyan? Ganyan kay Adrian. Ang slogan. Alright, thank you, Maria Charis. Let's ask Carla Cunanan. Whilst we're waiting for Adrian. Pinabili ata ng suka, guys. Ano ba? Pro ka din. Pero would you be willing to hear out the arguments of Francis Alipio? Kasi against siya. Okay. So there's a chance that your decision might be swayed because your decision is actually should be objective, ha. Democratic tayo dito, but at least try your best to be objective. Pro ka, all right? But there's that okay, Francis, may chance pa tayo. Try your best to convince your classmates that they're So dalawa na ang pro. What about Daniel Papa? Pinabili ata talaga siya ng suka, Sir Marco. What about Daniel Papa? Against abortion. All right. Against abortion. But if Adrian's group was able to give you substantial evidence as well as a cohesive argument, would you be willing to be swayed to the pro abortion topic or side rather? Ay, hindi na sumagot si Daniela Papa. Awkward. Ang tagal. Alright. Hindi ko na siya maantay. Pwede na ba tayong mag-start with Joanna Baltar or Mayra Gagaso? Sino sa inyo mag-volunteer on behalf of your team leader? Parang ayaw ni Mayra. Ano ba? Tingnan nyo kasi si Cesar, parang naboboard na. Tingnan nyo yung itsura ni Cesar, Sino mag-volunteer dito sa dalawa? Kasi we're losing time. Sino? Alright, possible daw according to Daniel Papa. Alright. So, sino? Sino po? Wala pa rin? Okay, ako mamimili. Pag ako namili. Pag ako namili, patay tayo dyan. Ano, mamili na ako, Sir Marco, kung sino sa kanila. Mamili na ako. Ini, mini, miny, moose, the finish of them all. Baltar. Doon tumama yung daliri ko eh. Baltar. Sorry, Baltar. Okay. You have to present your introduction, reason as to why that is your argument. 1 minute starts now. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. That is the end of your. All right. Now I want a rebuttal from the against group. All right. I want your rebuttal. She said that it is supposed to be. Wait, hang on a sec. Let me summarize what she said. What she said is that it's supposed to be a women's right to choose what she wants, and women should not be treated as a vessel to harbor fetus. What is your rebuttal? You have 1 minute to counter that argument. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. That is the end of your rebuttal. A counter argument from Miss Gagaso. I'm Yes. Is that all? You have you have you have 33 seconds to prove your point. All right. Oh, so sorry. One of our members messaged me. They said that the thank you so much. One of our members, before we continue, one of our members said that the video is not saying is not being heard in the YouTube live stream. So let's try again on a different. Let's try and change my settings. Hang on a sec. Can somebody help me out and say something on? Hello? Can you guys say something for me? Ayon. All right. Okay, so let's continue. Pro-abortion, against abortion. Somewhere. Cesar Makatulad. What is your sentiments on their argument? 1 minute starts now. Nasaan na si Cesar? Cesar, I can't hear you.
Yes po. Mm.
Ayun, nagulat ako, Cesar.
uh, good afternoon. Abortion is not good in the Philippines because it can, I call this, it can urge the teenagers to make babies like teenage pregnancy and like if the if abortion is legal in the Philippines, many of the teenagers will just say it. Okay, sex is okay, not parang ano po, parang okay lang sa kanila na ano dahil nga legalize yung abortion. Parang gagawin na lang nila ng gagawin dahil okay lang naman eh. Kung ipalaglag ko, wala namang batas na hahabol sa akin. That's all po.
Sorry. Um, you have 10. What about Francis's group? You have 10 more seconds. Do you have anything to add, Charis? Charis, do you have or no? Charis, do you have anything to say or to add? Because there's 10 more seconds. I'm being fair here. I want to. Ano? Ano nangyari, Charis? Charis? Hindi ko marinig ang sinasabi ni Charis. So I suppose that is all for against. Let's move. Ay, ayan na. May 10 seconds ka pa, girl. All right?
Ano yung last na sinabi? Hindi ko narinig kasi sir. Um, Ayun po, na-promote yung teenage pregnancy. If we are pro-abortion po, so we are letting the teens po na malegalize yung abortion po.
Okay.
Some posts po sa Facebook that I've read po kasi is support sila sa pro-abortion. And
All right.
some
Thank you so much.
post din po is
That is
against
10
it
that
po.
is just 10 that is 10 seconds already. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on to pro-abortion group. Our closing statements for you have 1 minute to close the topic of abortion, and then we're going to have 30 seconds for the group, for the whole class to group, for the rest of the class to group, to of the inside in the group, to vote for which arguments they think are better. All right, so closing statements for Adrian.
Alright, thanks so much, Sir Manuel. So, we are in favor of abortion because, um, for example, women who have experienced rape cases, um, for sure they do not want to, they do not want the child as it as for them it is an accident. Um, so these babies they may develop post traumatic stress disorders, anxieties, panic attacks, and depressions. So this is why I am in favor of abortion, and yes, that will go on.
All right, there's 14 seconds on the clock. What about closing remarks additional from either Baltar or Gagaso to strengthen your points? Maybe you can convince some of your classmates to be pro-abortion. Do you have any? Joanna, do you have any? No?
Ano po?
All right, wait.
Um,
1, 2, 3. All right, 12 seconds on the clock. All right, go.
Kasi po if for example, na-screen po yung pinagbubuntis ng babae na may genetic disorder. If yun po ay tinuloy niya, ang ending po is magsasuffer yung bata, which
All right.
is
Thank
very
you. That is the 10 second. That's 10 seconds. Closing remarks for abortion. That is for people who are against abortion. You have 1 minute. I'm going to call on the person who had the least contribution in your group for this topic, Charisse Locerona. Closing remarks.
Sir, for me po against abortion kasi it is immoral to kill a life po.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for the abortion, um, against abortion din po kasi some things on Facebook are posting about this pro-abortion and they're using this pro-abortion thing po to cater their sexual needs by saying na it is okay um to mag gawin yung mga bagay na yun kasi may abortion naman.
Okay.
Yun po.
15 seconds on the clock. Anything to add? Your team leader or Cesar? Do you have anything to add? Cesar has something to add. 12 seconds on the clock. You may begin.
And sir, some doctors will abuse it because of if the abortion is legal and gagawin siyang negosyo po tapos
All right. All right. Thank you. 12 minutes is done. All right. So did you guys like the first round? Were you able to prove your point? Huh? Before we continue with the second round, I'll be commenting on some of your I like the fact that you guys are trying to think critically on certain topics that are relative to your generation right now. And I would like to commend you for voicing out your concerns, regardless whether or not your views are against or through it. We will still respect it because this is a democratic debate. Okay? So, group, anyone from the chat, you guys can start voting now. I'll give you guys a minute. First part there, you can vote for either Francis Alipio's group or Team Cummings. All right? You can vote for for either of these two. Okay? Before we announce the my point, where will I get my point? I'll give the honors to Sir Marco first because he's our what they call this facilitator for today's seminar. So he's going to be the one before me. Right? So, anybody, you guys can start voting now. In 1 minute. Ang ganda, di ba? You guys are thinking critically on things that are relevant talaga. Natutuwa ako kasi at least you guys can argue without using foul language na wala akong narinig na murahan. Merong nagtataas ng kamay kanina. Unfortunately, I have to ignore the people who are raising their hands earlier. I don't know why they're raising their hands. But unfortunately, the show must go on. Di ba, Taray? Ang lakas talaga makakaren, Davila. Okay. All right. So voting is done. Let's see what your dear professor would say. Who will he give his 2 points?
Well, in my viewpoint lang naman so I did get each point from each from nagets ko yung point from both sides. It's just they didn't articulate it so well.
I agree.
Okay, they didn't articulate it so well and parang I wish sinulat man lang nila yung statement nila so that they can read it. Okay. But I think though the side that made the better argument was the group nila Alipio.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, for me, I agree with your professor, Mr. Flores. I think I would have loved it if you tried to articulate what you're going to say. There's a lot of times there's dead air, and debaters should be the only person that I actually admired when he started his speech was the team leader from group 2 because he introduced it properly. I was able to get what his point was, and objectively I will be giving the point to group 2, but my sentiments fall my if you were to ask me, I am for pro abortion. All right, I'm pro abortion.
So I'm supposed to give my stance din ba?
Yeah, that's ano,
Okay.
that's my view. But we are here to judge you guys objectively, regardless of my predilections towards your stance. I am pro. However, the articulation was the enunciation of the words, the delivery of the speech is far better than the previous one, and hopefully you guys from group 1 can recover from this, okay? Because we have round 2, and round 2 will be selected by Miss Gagaso. Select a number from 1 to 3.
3.
Number 3 is about euthanasia. Euthanasia. Now, Cesar Makatulad, you are going to select left and right. Left and right. I have here whether you are pro euthanasia, or you will be the deciding factor whether your group is pro euthanasia or against euthanasia. So galingan mo.
Sir, wait lang ah. Sir, wait lang. Roy, you're not supposed to submit yet yung sa forms dahil wala pa yung arguments 2, 3, and 4.
Yan nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, sir eh. Yan na nga ba sinasabi ko eh. Number 1 lang, kayo talaga. Sino nagsagot ng wawarlahin ko talaga?
Ako, sir.
Feeling ko yung Arcon yon. Feeling ko yung Arcon yon. Argument number, ano pa lang tayo? Topic number 2 pa lang tayo. Ba't nagsagot na yung iba? Tiningnan ko nga, sir. Sabi ko, ba't may nagsagot? Buti sinabi mo, sir. Alright. Alright, argument number 2, Cesar. Left or right?
Left.
Left. Alright. Okay, so you are pro euthanasia. All right? Francis Alipio's group is pro euthanasia. Adrian's group is against euthanasia. So it's basically the reverse of what we have earlier. So your topic is, do you think euthanasia should be legalized without any government intervention? It should be legalized in every hospital facility, hospital facilities, of course, under our jurisdiction in the Philippines. Okay, so you are pro, you are against. Francis's group is pro. Adrian's group is against it. All right, 1 minute to prepare. Don't worry, wag ka muna mag-raise ng hand. Wag ka muna mag-raise ng hand, Francis. Ready na siya. I'm ready. I have a lot of stuff to ano. But remember, my criteria for judging is not only it's not based on your position or your predilection towards the topic, but rather how you present your data. That's why I said charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Okay? So yun yung ano ko grade, yan na, ready na oh. All right. 1 minute is up. Okay? Francis, opening remarks about euthanasia.
Hello everyone. Euthanasia may cut two sides of a sword, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the utilitarianism ethical theory that Sir Manuel said a while ago, that happiness should always be first before displeasure or sadness. It is easy to say that first do no harm, but we are all autonomous beings.
Mm-hmm.
It is our choice. If we are no longer happy, it may sound nihilistic, it may sound very sad, but in the end, at the very most end, as humans, it is just us alone. So I think this shouldn't be an argument, because this choice is yours and yours alone.
All right. 1 minute is up. Thank you so much for those closing remarks. Wonderfully articulated. Rebuttal from from group team leader Adrian. Senator Cummings, what is your comeback?
Alright, good afternoon, everyone. So, in life, you fall, you rise, you make mistakes, you live and you learn. So this is why I am not in favor of euthanasia. Yeah, that
All
would
right.
be all, sir.
All right, we still have 30 seconds on the clock. Anybody from your team can add to that. Nag-close si Mayra. Nag-close ng camera si Mayra. All right, anybody? What about Joanna? What's your do you have anything to add against euthanasia?
Um, ano po, based po sa the fundamental principles of ethics po under the beneficence, it states that the principle of beneficence is creation of physicians for the benefit of the patient. Number of moral rules to protect and defend the right of others, prevent harm, remove conditions that would cause harm
All right.
in nature.
Thank you so much. That is already 30 seconds. We're going to get a rebuttal from Cesar Makatulad, member number 2. What is your rebuttal? You have 1 minute on the clock.
Okay. I'm pro euthanasia because it is good because some of the people in the Philippines are abusing the law because the law parang wala siyang pangil, kumbaga inaabuso ng mga kapangyarihan tao, and also the crime in the Philippines are so immoral, like raping your own daughter, killing your own family. That is immoral. So kailangan na talaga siyang ibalik ang death penalty. Thank you po.
Sir, nakamute po kayo.
Sir Manuel, nakamute ako.
All right, Francis.
I we can also look at these trying times. We already in the 21st century. Values and beliefs are evolving, so we shouldn't be stuck at the old beliefs. Now, if we do that, we're just like cannibals from the thousands of years ago. So uh, so the journey as humans sa top ng pyramid ni ano ni human
All right.
ni Abraham
Thank you.
Maslow is
Thank you. Let's move on to a counter argument by Mayra. Miss Mayra, are you there? Walang substitute kay Mayra? Okay. Joanna, sorry.
Um, cons po kami kasi even without yung pag-approve ng euthanasia, there are still ano pa rin po parang yung sinasabi po nila. Kasi marami pa rin pong gumagawa kahit po ano siya, illegal. And ano din po, kasi pwede din po kasing mag-influence yun sa, kunwari po ang pasyente is comatose, ganyan. Tapos mayaman po siya. Tapos, pwede po yung mag-influence sa family members niya na gawin po yun for personal gains po. And it may cause din po distrust from patients po towards the doctors. Kasi kasi nga po
All right. Thank you so much, Mayra. Counter argument from Charisse. Charisse, what's your counter argument?
Sir, sabi niya po na in coma, we can never say naman na mabubuhay pa siya. Pwede din namang brain dead. So, for euthanasia po, euthanasia is intentionally killing parang ending the suffering of a human po. For me, euthanasia is a choice. Choice po ng person na yun kung gusto niya na i-end yung suffering niya kaysa patagalin pa. It is not a choice parang hindi siya dapat na pinoprolong pa kung gusto ng patient na i-end po. Yun lang po.
Okay. You still have 15 seconds in the clock. What about Cesar? What about Francis? Do you guys have anything to add?
like the saying in this contemporary movement,
Mm.
body our choice.
All right. That's your final argument to close that one. Okay. What about
Thank you
Mayra?
very much.
All right. What about Mayra?
Um, this is for the healthcare professionals. It is our duty as a healthcare officials to provide quality care for the preserve human life, to preserve human life.
All right. Is that all? All right. What
Yes.
about Adrian? All right. What about Adrian? You still have 40 seconds on the clock. What?
So just like a slippery slope, sir. Once a healthcare service starts killing its own citizens, a line is crossed, and that should not be crossed. If a society allows voluntary euthanasia, it will gradually change into involuntary and non-voluntary euthanasia, where people who are not in favor of euthanasia uh, will be killed, and also children euthanasia could also occur. That would be all.
All right. So 5 seconds. I don't think that would be enough for you guys to find a rebuttal. Closing remarks for our pro group. Um, okay. Closing remarks. Who wants to say something from your group?
Yes, bro.
Sina?
Sir,
All right, Charis, let's go.
pinarinig ko. Yes.
Okay.
So, euthanasia po kasi is a choice po. Kaya po, nagbibigay sila ng form, di ba? Pag coma po yung patient, nagbibigay naman po sila ng form kung bago hugutin yung life support. So, euthanasia po, nasa patient po talaga siya. Hindi po siya decision lang ng other parties, kundi nasa patient at ng family po ng patient.
Okay. 30 seconds. Anybody else who wants to close this topic for pro? Francis, do you have anything to say? Cesar? Walang closing? Wala na? Okay. So we can move on to how group 2 will, how group 1 will close. Okay. So we'll move on to group 1. Group 1, closing statements.
Okay, so euthanasia would violate the International Code of Medical Ethics,
Mm-hmm.
which could damage the doctor-patient relationship, just like what Joanne said a while ago. So it is our duty as healthcare professionals to provide quality care to our patients and to preserve human life. So we strongly disagree that euthanasia be implemented or applied here in our country.
All right. That is exactly 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds more, 25 seconds rather. What about Mayra? Closing remarks. Joanna. Okay, Joanna unmuted herself. All right.
Ano din, that choice may transform from, ano po, life to right to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Ganun.
All right. Mayra, closing remarks. She is not having it. She is not having it. Look at her face. She is not having it. I feel pissed. She said her face looks like I am pissed.
Oh, di ba? Kaya mas maganda na open cam.
Uh-oh. She is pissed. All right. Okay. All right. So the whole class can vote. Which one do you think has the better argument? Please think objectively and don't think that if Adrian or Francis or Mayra or Joanna or Cesar or Charisse is your friend, I urge you to think objectively because both sides have presented compelling arguments. So you guys have 1 minute. And please don't vote on the third and fourth. Come on, guys.
Wala naman nadagdag.
On the second, vote on the second one. All right. Okay, so we have 1 minute to vote. Let's go one by one on people's feelings towards the topic. What about Adrian? Are you for pro euthanasia or you were just accidentally just got the short end of the stick?
Actually, sir, I'm really not in favor of euthanasia.
But you got the short. You unfortunate. Okay, all right. What about Mayra? Are you actually pro euthanasia or against euthanasia?
Pro po.
Pro ka din. What about Johanna? You are pro euthanasia? Pro ka din. But yet you're still capable. You're still capable of creating compelling topics, arguments. I like the fact that you're capable of answering the questions. All right. Finished voting. Sir Marco, where do you think the point should go? Your 2 points should go.
Okay. So, I think tawag dito, mas maganda na yung arguments ngayon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the next round, I hope na gamitin niyo yung full minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But aside from that, I think I'll be casting my vote for Team Alivio.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. So my personal view naman regarding euthanasia is pro euthanasia. Okay. As long as it's a personal choice, because number one, hindi ako naniniwala sa medical proxies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By medical proxy, I mean, let's say I cannot give, I'm no longer mentally competent, so
Mm-hmm.
usually there would be a person assigned to make decisions for me. Okay. And the only reason naman na I'm pro euthanasia, okay, is you really haven't, I think most of you, or some of you at least, you haven't really seen someone in hospice care. Okay? Let's say they're undergoing, tawag dito, let's say they're undergoing chemotherapy, and they only have a few months to live. Okay? Rather than enjoying that few months to live, they're under a lot of suffering. Okay? And it's a very ugly death. Okay? And there's a major difference between being alive and having a life. Okay? Yun lang for me.
All right. Okay. So my vote is obviously going to be with the one who has the most compelling arguments. I believe it is for part 2, group 2. I would like to remove 1 point from the group, but they were able to correct their, remember, fallacies. I was talking about fallacies earlier. If a statement is fallacious, I can remove 1 point as an arbiter. But Cesar actually corrected himself earlier on the second round. If you guys haven't noticed, he didn't articulate it well, but I did find the idea. I was supposed to remove 1 point from them, but since they were capable of correcting their arguments and reassessing their views on the particular topic, I still think I would give the group. I still think group 2 deserve the point. But be mindful, all right? When I say a topic, if a statement is fallacious, if it does not have a logical what do you call this? A logical relation to what you are saying, I can remove a point from you guys, all right? It is a warning for both groups. All right. So, Francis, left or right?
Right.
Right? Wait, hang on. Nawala pala yung ano ko. Nawala pala yung left and right ano ko. Sorry. All right. So, left and right, left and right, left and right. You chose right. You are against. You are against a specific topic that Adrian is going to choose. 1 or 2?
One po.
1. Sex education in elementary school as early as first grade. Ooh. This is something nice. All right? So Francis is against it. Mayra, Joanna, and Adrian, you are pro. You have 1 minute to prepare and gather your thoughts. This one is an interesting topic. I don't know why I added it there. I was supposed to remove it. I was supposed to remove it actually. I was supposed to change it to genetic testing and chemical testing on humans, but I forgot to remove it and I didn't have the time. Come on, guys. Give me a break. I've been babbling on for almost 3 hours here, or more than 3 hours here. So give me a break. Sex education as early as first grade. So, Joanna, Mayra, and Adrian, you are for teaching kids about sex education. All right. And Francis, Cesar, and Cherise, you are against this one. Okay? All right. Time's up. Opening remarks for the people who are pro. Who wants to start? Okay, so I'm going to call Adrian obviously because you're the team leader. All right. Why are you pro sex education as early as the first grade?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm in favor of sex education being taught to students because teaching children about sex can be difficult and uncomfortable, but most people feel that it's necessary and essential. A comprehensive sex education curriculum includes basic sexual anatomy, the science of reproduction, medically accurate facts about contraception, information about abstinence, and a rundown of sexually transmitted disease. So, teaching children the basics of sexual activity can help prevent unprotected sex, teen pregnancy, and sexually transmitted diseases. That'll be all, sir.
All right. Additional information. You have 19 seconds on the clock. Mayra or Joanna, do you have anything? Joanna?
Ano po, um, uh, in order po for students to be well-rounded po is ano, kailangan niyo po their own bodies po. Uh, Reproductive,
All
ganun
right.
po, mga
Thank you.
misconception.
Thank you so much. A rebuttal from the team leader from the group 2. Francis, you're muted.
Sex education may still be a taboo in our country, especially of it being a Catholic one. But looking at this, youth is a very critical period for young children to develop their own sense of morals, which in turn will affect them until the end of their lives. If looking at it, uh, that specific age of those young children is very important for them to develop their morals first. I'm not saying that sex is immoral, but on that specific age of those children, that is not the most important. um, like Sir said, during grade school, during the time in high school, that is where children are becoming sexually curious and stuff. So that is the best time to teach sex education. Um, and during their grade school days, that is where morals must be taught first, manners, and how they should be a kind and God-fearing persons in our
All right.
society.
Thank you so much. A rebuttal from Mayra. She is not having it. She wants to fight. This girl wants to fight.
Actually, many teenagers nowadays are becoming sexually active, and also this can help or stay be or abstain or at least be responsible for their commitments.
All right. That is all. You still have 50 10 50, 40 seconds, sorry. That's all? Anybody from the group? You have to strengthen your arguments.
Ano po,
Okay, go.
uh, um, how sure are they po na high school mo curious ang bata? Kasi iba-iba po yung kids, lalo na po ngayong generation. Um, ano po, ay naniniwala po ako sa sinasabi ng mga parents na start them young. Lagi po. Tapos, ano din po. Kung hindi po sila mapoprovide ng tamang education about nga po, there will come a time po na maghahanap sila ng ibang source of information. Kasi ano po sila bata po sila. They have curious minds po. So kung imbis po na negative source po ang makuha na, teach them the right way po.
Thank you, Mayra. Sorry, Joanna and Mayra. Thank you so much. Girl, she is not having it. All right. What is your response to that one? Charis. Sorry, Cesar pala. Si Cesar pala. Sorry. Cesar, what is your response?
Wait lang po.
Ay, the clock
Uh,
is ticking.
Imagine, sex education is not good in elementary because they will not appreciate the topic because they didn't understand the principle of that. Imagine telling 5 to 6 years old about contraceptives and all of that. Thank you.
All right. We still have 30 seconds. Anybody from your group who can strengthen and buff their... All right. Sorry, Francis, but your group member has something to say. All right, go.
And sir, you said na grade 2 pala kanina start din young. And I think it's not applicable po for children around grade 1. Kasi yung way of thinking nila ay iba sa mature na pag-iisip ng mas matanda sa kanila. They might, yun nga, makikinig sila, pero hindi nila mapaprocess or maiintindihan kung ano yung totoong
All right. Thank you so much.
gusto nyong ituro sa kanila about sa education.
Thank you so much. All right. It's from group 1. Hello? Hello? Nawala na ang ano natin. Nawala ang aking moderator. Where did he go? He's supposed to be the one to have final thoughts. Binabilin ilang suka ba ang kailangan ni mother? Shudobo. All right. Girl who is not having it. Give us your closing thoughts or to close your argument right now. She's really not having it.
Ang sabi kasi diba grade 1 ganun bata pa. So mas maganda na yung natuturuan agad sila. I mean kahit yung mga basic reproductive system ganun. Kahit paano meron pa rin yung alam. Kasi that age meron ka ng isip nun. So alam na nila kahit paano yung mga ganun. And then habang tumatanda sila, mas doon may papasok yung reproductive system. So napakahalaga talaga nun sa atin.
All right. Anything to add, Joanna?
Pwede din naman po siyang ito grade school. Pero pwede din po ng maaga. Kasi habang bata ka, umubog sa'yo. Yun yung mag-i-instill sa'yo kung ano yung tama, ano yung mali, ano yung dapat mong gawin, ano yung dapat na hindi.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Closing remarks from group 2.
During our bioethics class a while ago, sir, it was reiterated that we are moved by natural laws. So if looking at the grand scheme of things, is teaching young children, innocent children, sex-related stuff natural? In my own moral sense, that I do not believe. So teaching grade 1 students who are under development stages, mentally, emotionally, and physically, just fit the bill with me. And I think people with the right moral aptitudes do not also fit with that same bill. So that is all. Thank you.
All right. I think 5 seconds is not enough for you to support that closing statement. So I guess we're going to go with the peanut gallery. So the peanut gallery, what is your judge? Who do you think provided you with the best arguments in this particular topic? Group 1 or group 2? You have 1 minute to decide. Okay. Francis, are you for? Are you really against teaching children Not necessarily grade schoolers.
I may classify myself as somehow woke, but I do not I do not po align my moral aptitudes po sa teaching dito ng students
Okay.
sex
What about
education.
Charisse?
During high school.
What about Charisse? Are you okay with teaching kids as early as grade school about sex education? This is something that is relevant to your time right now. When I was young, it was I think around grade 6. Um, but for you guys, I think it is relevant right now because of social media. So, what do you think about you, Charisse? Because you're a social media queen. You said earlier, I saw a post in Facebook, blah blah blah. That was actually one of your arguments earlier, and I support you for. I like the way you think. You're using examples to support your arguments. What do you think about this particular topic? What is your real stance on it? If luck wasn't on your side.
Against against po talaga, sir.
Uh-huh. Against ka
Kasi
din.
grade 1 is too young po for
Mm-hmm.
me. And hindi po talaga, parang mahirap po talaga i-process at such a young age yung mga informations.
Respect your views. All right. What about Joanna? Are you really for teaching kids? What about you, Joanna? Are you really for teaching kids as early as grade school?
Yes.
Last na. You're okay with it?
With proper guidance.
Aha. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So Peanut Gallery is finished voting. Let's see the results of. Let's see the comments from your dear professor.
Okay, so originally, sir, when you presented the topic kanina, I was kind of against
Mm-hmm.
because it was such a it's such a what do you call it?
Sensitive topic, right? Yeah.
But narinig ko yung arguments
Mhm.
ng pro group. Okay, so they made a really good point na it's not like you're going to give them the full sex education right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So they can start yung basics nga lang naman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Gradually, like any other subject naman, gradually, nagiging mas detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Which you can eventually lead up to, let's say, grade 6, first year high school, okay? And senior high. So, I'd be giving my vote dun sa pro group.
Right? Wow, that's amazing. At least they can my god, meron pa tayong tiebreaker ground pagka naka-score sila ulit next ano. All right. Ikaw talaga, sir, ha. You're making things difficult for me. All right. Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede. Ilang oras ko kayo pinag-break. All right. Okay. I agree with your professor. I do think that the arguments are much more elaborated in group 1. They have like a sense of like they have like a platform. Kailan matututo sa mga bata? Gradually ba? Yes. Especially the topic that Miss Joanna said, with guidance. You don't necessarily have to give them the full hardcore nitty-gritty of the reproductive system and intercourse. You just need them to give the basics of a particular topic, and yeah, I agree with them, and I'm giving them 2 points. All right. Okay. So this is the deciding round, and why are you raising your...
Sir, classmates lang tayo, pero I'm not being competitive, sir. Pero their argument po were mostly umikot po sa more on high school po, so...
All right. You are all right, we have interpolation here. All right, we have interpolation here. All right. Okay. This is interesting. I'm looking at things objectively. All right. Okay, so interpolation ang gusto mo, ha? Okay. All right. So, give me an argument. I can take back my point if you are capable of convincing me now. I'll give you 1 minute to convince either Mr. Flores or me to convince me about a specific argument. You can ask the help of your friends, or you can ask the help of your teammates if you want, or you can support your argument by yourself. 1 minute now. Convince me. Ang tagal. Ang tagal. Hindi siya nakamute na naman siya. Ayan.
Yeah.
Ulit. Nakamute ka kanina. Ulit. Alright. 1 minute starts now.
Ay, wala po. Okay. Okay, sorry po. 20 seconds in po.
Ano na? Ano daw?
Cesar, help a friend.
I'm looking at it objectively. I actually wrote it here. I actually wrote why I like them. If you, I'm not saying I want to delay the whole thing, but they actually did try to, I'm actually against it, teaching kids I'm actually against it. Yeah, I'm against it. I want them to have mental preparation first, but the data was well articulated. I actually searched in YouTube, in Google, what the heck Adrian was talking about, because I had no idea what that was. So I pieced everything together. So unfortunately, Francis, my point goes to them, and we have no favoritism here. We're just looking at it.
Yes po, I'm not asking for the point po. I'm just saying.
But you have the chance. But
Competitive, okay na. Let's move past.
But I'm giving you.
Yun lang po yung sinabi. Grade 1 po kasi.
Yun lang yung grade 1 po kasi. Alright. That's your argument. It's not strong enough to convince me. Alright? Okay. Last topic is about, what's this? Privatization of healthcare. Ooh, health economics. So it's not just my topic today. We're going to go with privatization of healthcare. So who was the last person to select their... let me explain what privatization of healthcare is. Baka mamaya magkaroon tayo ng fallacious statements na naman. Baka mabawasan ng points ng mga members natin. Privatization of healthcare means that we are... the government is allowing a particular entity to build up a business focusing on healthcare. Right? So a business can be considered as healthcare. All right? There are benefits, of course, of privatizing healthcare. Not one thing is better healthcare delivery, because if you pay for it, you're going to get better. You get better care. There is also cons. If it is privatized, this means that the whole business is going to revolve around just making money and not really caring about the patients. Okay? So there are things. So a private institution, say for example, Daniel Papa Hospital is a privatized healthcare facility, and the government gave every right for them to do whatever they want. They can decide on the prices of the treatments. They can decide on the staffing of their patients. They can decide on what laboratory tests, how much laboratory tests can cost, how much the medicines can cost, because it is privatized. All right? There are certain pros and cons, but this time around, there is of course a balance. Ang ganda ng topic kasi maganda siya. May both pros and cons talaga siya. And as of now, for me, I am undecided. So maybe you guys can convince me and Mr. Marco to either work pro or con for privatization of hospitals. All right? Or healthcare facilities. All right. So let's ask Adrian. Left or right?
Left, sir.
You are left? You are against privatization of healthcare facilities in the hospital. All right? Of hospitals. Francis, you are pro. Francis, your group is pro. Okay. I'm going to start the timer for 1 minute for you guys to prepare your arguments, counter arguments, whatever they throw at you. Okay? And timer starts now. I wanna see what the peanut gallery voted for. Wait lang. Hoy,
Private
mag-isip ka muna na sasabihin mo. Wait lang, 1 minute. Ikaw talaga excited.
Niloguriya na naman eh.
Oo, wag kang excited. Tingnan natin kung sinong binoto ng peanut gallery. I want to see. So Marco, paano ko malalaman kung kung sino yung ano? Hindi ko alam paano.
Sino yung what?
Paano ko malalaman kung ano? Paano ko malalaman kung sino yung binoto ng mga tao?
Sa Google Forms?
Oo. Pa-share naman.
Email, sir. Para ma-add kita.
Ayan. Alright. Thank you. Here. Alright. Whilst Sir Marco is sending me the groups, alright. Okay, so Francis, please deliver your introductory speech. Sorry, Adrian, you are pro, right? Pro ba or against? Against ka pala, sorry, against, sorry. Pro pala muna tayo, si Francis pala muna. Sorry. Okay. Pro? Why are you pro? Don't lie to me, Boy Abunda.
Go. Privatization has always been a big taboo in here in the Philippines. When you think of privatization, you think of Meralco, you think of NLEX. But where did that lead us? If you're looking at the other side of the coin, we were also blessed and continue to be blessed because of privatization. And same goes with our healthcare. If you look at one of our hospitals, the Philippine Heart Center, um, I know that it, it is semi-owned by the government and it is also semi-private. Um, but it has always been a go-to hospital, especially in terms of quality for cardiovascular healthcare. And what does privatization do? Besides of the quality that may be provided, it will save taxpayers money, it will increase flexibility, and most importantly, it will improve service quality.
All right. Thank you so
Especially depending upon
much.
it.
Thank you so much. That's the end of your introductory statement. Let's see what the other group has to say. Leader, please dazzle us.
All right. Good afternoon again, everyone. So, privatization means that healthcare is a privately owned or for-profit enterprise. Um, Note that those little words for profit. It means just like Apple, Samsung, um, Hermes, and local gas stations, they want to maximize profit. So they do this by selling the most expensive stuff that they can sell to the richest consumers who will buy it. Uh, which means that a for-profit company is not interested in them as clients because, well, they are not clients. So this question makes about as much as much sense as asking, in what way is Apple better for the poor? In what way is Hermes better for the poor? And the answer is, it's not. The poor are not the target
All
market
right.
of
Thank you so much.
privatized
Thank
companies,
thank you so much. All
hospitals.
right. Charis. Charis. Okay. Wala pa si Charis. Si ano muna? Si Cesar. Cesar, do you have anything to counter their arguments? Cesar.
Cheese, cheese, help, cheese.
Oh, sige. Um, I would like to contradict the statement said by Mr. Cummings. His statement mainly revolved around Samsung, Hermes, Apple. But to counter that, this is not actually the part of the topic. We are actually talking about the privatization of healthcare. Samsung, Apple, know what their business is all about. It is mainly private and it is consumer based. In terms of talking about the privatization of healthcare, tignan natin yung Meralco. uh, guys can complain, people can complain. Tira natin yung NLEX, people can complain. But we cannot deny one thing. We cannot deny the quality that they provide. Yes, it is easy to say that it is pro poor, but there are also other steps that have always been that try to neutralize the gap between the rich and the poor. That is one of our goals as Filipinos to reach.
All right. Thank you so much. Counter argument for Miss Joanna.
Um, ano po, ang sasabihin? Um, other ano po kasi, mga HMO, namimili po sila ng hospitals. So, if ikaw ay HMO holder at in case of emergency is nagpunta ka sa specific na hospital, tapos hindi sila accredited with your health insurance, you have to pay more than the usual. Kasi wala, hindi i-acknowledge yung HMO card mo eh. Tapos, ano po, ang tawag doon? Um, mas flexible po kasi siya. Ah, tapos, ang pagbayad po kasi ng mga health insurance mo monthly is kung mas gusto mo ng mas premium na service, mas mahal yung babayaran mo. Unlike sa sa public hospitals. Doon naman po sa quality of care. Kasi lahat naman po is equally. Lahat po yan nag-aral ng ilang taon, ilang ang dinaanan nila to be there. So you don't say na iba ang quality, ang care ng quality. Siguro iba ang quality ng mga product, but hindi po sa care. Ganun.
All right. Okay. Counter argument from Cesar or Charisse. You may pass again to your leader if you have no counter arguments prepared. If you want, just to get this thing over with. Charis, wait, nag-online si Charis. Nagpakita si Charis.
Charis, let's go.
Oh. Timer starts now. Charis.
Process ko pa po yung sinasabi ni Joanna.
Alright. Your timer is running.
What Miss Baltar said a while ago na, yes, nag-aral, pero yung binibigay niyang quality iba. So, hindi ba kina-counter yung sarili niyang argument? That's why, parang bibili tayong manok. But tayo bibili yung manok sa hindi na masarap pinagluto. Pero mas pinipili natin yung Jollibee. You get the point. So, laking bagay rin, isasabi natin yung poor. Pero ano yung bang nag-build ng big gap between the poor and the rich? Politicking, di ba? So, if yung healthcare natin na privatize, in turn, yung politicking dyan, yung palakasan system and stuff, mababawasan. So, in turn,
Intern. Sino ang magi-intern? Intern, sino ang magi-intern? No, Sir Marco?
Let's go!
All right, closing statement from your team leader. Adrian, what's your closing statement?
Sir, basically, sir, regarding natin sa care, actually mas marami pong magagaling na healthcare professionals na nasa public hospitals po. And bukod po dun, sir, yung salary po nila, it's much bigger than those of the ones in private hospitals po. And like what we said a while ago, sir, yung cost ng patients po, it's not the same as to those of the ones in the private hospitals po. It's much cheaper and much accessible po. Yeah.
All right. I don't think 5 seconds is enough for you guys to create a rebuttal. So, closing statements from from Francis's group.
I would like to end this debate and this topic by saying something personal.
Ay.
My father is a public health physician. But looking at him, what if in terms of sickness, example, nagkakasakit kami, we got sick. Why does he always go to the privatized healthcare institutions? This is not a mean to offend people in the public sector because personally, I grew up from people who have worked their way up from the public sector, but we can't deny um, because of the funds provided in the field in the private field, um, people the quality that they give is much better than the one in the public. Hindi yung mga employees, but the machines uh, and stuff. And
All right, thank you so much.
yeah.
All right. Peanut Gallery, you have 1 minute to vote on who do you think has the better argument. Group 1, Group 2, Group 1, Group 2, Group nobody. Charot. Group 1, Group 1 or Group 2. 1 minute starts now. All right. Um let's ask Mayra. You didn't say anything today. Who are you really against for? Girl, she is not having it. Her eyebrows is saying everything. She is not having it. Why are you always calling me? That's her face right now. Are you really pro pro privatization? No, yeah, against privatization?
Yes.
Why? I want to know why. At least napangiti ko, Sir Marco. At least napangiti ko. Parang ang hirap pangitiin ditong batang to. Bakit? Wala lang. Trip ko lang, ganun. Okay. All right, let's move on to your teammate. Joanna, are you really for privatization? Against privatization?
Neutral lang po kasi.
Neutral. Why? Hindi pwede yung sagot ni ano. I know you have you don't have the eyebrows to back it up, girl. Girl, that won't work with me.
Ano po kasi sir, parehas naman po kasing helpful. Parang kapag public is accessible sa lahat.
Mhm.
Mayaman ka, mahirap ka, ganyan. Pero pag private, pwede din naman. Pero parang mas better kasi kung meron parehas para na nasa-segregate yung mga may hindi na makikipagsiksikan sa mga mahirap.
Ah, all
Kailangan
right.
ng urgent.
So you're basing the principle on autonomy, right? You're basing it on autonomy. Sayang sana ginamit mo sa argument 'yon. Ikaw talaga eh. Kayo talaga. Kaya ako nga present sa inyo yung data, yung principles, the 4 principles of bioethics, tapos ikaw naman. All right. Peanut Gallery is finished voting. Let's hear your final thoughts, Sir Marco.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest, neither side really convinced me. No, it's because both sides have valid points. So and mahirap siyang i-weigh against each other.
Mhm.
But if I have to give yung point to which team, it's the pro privatization.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. But and in my personal opinion, I'm against kasi privatization simply because it's possible na mawalan talaga ng access sa healthcare yung lower income citizens.
Mm.
Okay? Buti sana kung yun nga, that's the case na pwede ka makapamili, but there may come a point na wala silang choice.
Mm.
Okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. You are for pro. So that is for a point for Adrian's group. Correct? No, no, other group. Sorry. Sorry. Nalilito din ako kasi may kachat ako. Sorry. To Francis's group. Actually, sir, we disagree. I like the I like the points pointed out by Miss Joanna. Her closing statement, her statement on the second one is something that I actually understood quite clearly. Baliktad tayong dalawa ngayon, sir. Hindi tayo magkasama ngayon ng points. Because I think it was Joanna's arguments that convinced me that yeah, they're much more they actually had the easier end of the stick, but fortunately for Francis, he was and his group, he's much more eloquent in delivering the topics, but because Joanna had more charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent on her second rebuttal, even if it was in Tagalog, I understood all her points. I got her what she want. I got everything she wanted, and I commend Adrian for calling out for talking about Hermes and Samsung and what's the other one, Apple. Yeah. So my point goes to them, but overall, I think on the objective side, I think the whole group voted towards the benefit of Alipio's group, and they won. So regardless of where my point went, I counted everything. It was actually Alipio's group who won. Okay? So 612 plus 612 for I would like to congratulate both teams. Okay? You did try your best to debate on the topic, and I commend your performances. Mahirap mag-isip whilst several people are watching you, and I thank you so much for participating in this debate, and hopefully you guys someday would be able to articulate better. All right, would be the only comment of probably the only negative comment that I could give you guys is try to articulate better. Okay, that's it. Write your points in a piece of paper. I gave you guys 1 minute. But I think
And it actually takes weeks para mag-prepare sa debate. Ano ba
Oo.
yun?
Oo.
Sa oras lang binigay sa inyo ni Sir Manuel.
Oo. So, binigyan ko na nga kayo ng clues kanina. Binigyan ko na nga sila ng clues kanina, yung mga bioethical topics, mag-isip-isip, mga ganun. Parang So, thankfully, at least kahit against yung ibang tao, we were still able to deliver an educated and a much more objective. That's my goal here, actually. The reason why I wanted to ask you guys these types of questions is because you are the future of the practice. You are the future healthcare professionals. And I needed to know what your stance is. And thank you so much for letting me peek into your brains today. And with that, oh my gosh, sobra ako ng 1 hour, I suppose. We gotta end this, guys. I have to play Elden Ring. All right. Bye, everybody. I missed you guys so much, and good luck on your examinations, because you guys will really need it. I want you guys before I leave, a piece of advice for everybody who's going to take my exam. Think like attorneys or lawyers, and remember the points that I sent to you. Remember the points that I underlined for you, and I'm going to send a copy of the PowerPoint presentations. Yun lang. Think like lawyers. All right? Use your critical thinking skills on your exam, because I will make it probably the most difficult MTL exam you're going to take. Evil laugh, sir. Evil laugh.
Cinderella.
Alright. Yung tawa ni Sir Marco medyo malalim. Alright. Thank you guys so much. And it was so nice having to talk to you guys again. I wish to see you guys in the Philippines. Alright? And minus 50 si Reniel, yes. No, sir?
Thank you, sir. Salamat po doon. Good luck din po sa inyo sa Elden Ring.
Bye.
Pero hindi, sir. With all seriousness, I learned a lot today, sir.
Ayan na naman tayo, mag-out na lang ako eh. May mga keme pa eh. Sige, 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 sige. Anong comments? Anong comments? Gusto ko palakihin yung ulo ko.
Gusto ko lang po, sir, mag-thank you that despite...
Thank you so much. That is the end of your... That is the end of... Okay, who else is...
Grabe, wala. Sige na nga, for me, thank you na lang po.
All right. Bye, guys. It was so nice meeting you
Okay
again.
po. Ingat po.
Thank you so much for
Bye,
giving me
Bye,
the
sir.
pleasure to teach you guys. And I hope you learned so much.
Thank you po, sir.
Sir.